In this video, I'll leave this V6 car behind and try this one out. Right, so here we have a Xedos 9, also known as a Mazda Millenia in some markets. It's a 1999, it's a 2.3 litre V6. It was meant to be Mazda's response to Lexus, although to be honest it's a little bit smaller than the old LS400, but it is bigger than the Rover 45 you can see behind. Styling perhaps a little anonymous, maybe because with the Xedos 6, the smaller one, it was very curvy and very unusual, and people seemed a bit wary of it. So let's go and have a nose inside. Oh, we got full cow going on, in very good condition. A little bit of something approaching wood. Lots of buttons and digital controls. 68,000 miles, fairly low. And in the back, well, a little bit tight to be honest for an executive, but I guess that's what you get for not having a car the size of an LS400. Something's got to give somewhere. But it feels very, very pleasant in here. It certainly smells very nice. That nice big sunroof always helps. One of my favourite features in a car. So here's the car's secret weapon. It is the millicycle engine. I think the only production car to use the millicycle, which involves having a supercharger. So we've got a simple little intercooler here. The supercharger will be in there somewhere, but you thought the Rover's engine bay was busy. Look at the state of that. Oh, there we go. There's yeah, all the pipe work for the supercharger. Yeah. So yeah, that must be exciting to work on. Changing spark plugs must be fun.
Yeah.
Suppose we better go and see what it sounds like, really.
Are you rolling it?
Well, it certainly sounds like a V6. Right, let's go and put the Xedos 9 through its paces. By the way, I say Xedos. Officially it's meant to be Xedos. Other people say Xedos, but I'm going for Xedos. Right, so I'm here with owner Greg, whose
Hello.
Lovely car this is. Handbrake's off. You'll have to guide me.
Yeah, we go left out the pub. We're at the Rocket Pub in Liverpool.
Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time in Liverpool, so it's quite nice to be here again.
We'll take you for a blast down to a local park, I think.
So how long have you owned this car?
I've had this car for 2 years. Before that it was kind of locked up for about 7 years, and it covered 2,000 miles in the 7 years, and before that it's full Mazda history from some guy who owned it for 8 years down in Milton Keynes. It's now on what, 68,000 miles. Yeah. I got it with 59,000 miles on it.
Oh good, so you've used it sparingly,
yeah,
but enough.
Yeah, about 4,500 a year, used it sparingly. Also, apart from this, I run an MX-5, so that gets a bit of the mileage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was amazed when I got hold of this car. I didn't know they existed, these cars. I was always a Vauxhall Senator Amiga man.
Yeah.
I used to have a unbelievable Vauxhall Senator 24 valve manual, ex-Merseyside Police. I had that for 6 years.
Yeah.
Nothing broke on that at all.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a car that's been on my wish list for ages,
yeah.
But I've not yet quite managed to own one.
This is similar, except where that was a manual, this is obviously automatic, and the automatic gearbox on this, I must say, is a little bit lazy. If you floor it, say you're doing 40, it takes a little minute to work out what gear it wants, and then it goes. That's the only downside, but there's plenty of power there. Very torquey engine as well, very quiet.
Yes, because obviously the engine is kind of the biggest talking point of this car, being the millicycle. And I've done some research into it, and I can't say it really has left me feeling enlightened. I'm still not entirely sure how it works.
It's to do with the length of the compression stroke. It only opens halfway or something, and the excess gas is forced into an induction system. There's a supercharger on this as well.
Yeah.
And it's
so the intake valve stays open when the piston starts coming back up.
Yeah, yeah. And it's 210 brake horsepower. I'm not sure
from
of the
2.3 litres.
It's a 2250 engine. The reason for that is they wanted to try and make something that
Which way are we
was
going
economical, go left. Something that was more economical than a 3 litre, but with the power of a 3 litre. And that's what this has because of the supercharger. Mechanically, I've known no problems at all. I've just changed the brake pads and the front discs, put new tyres on it. If there was a problem, then I might be in trouble because as we've seen with the engine bay, it looks pretty tight in there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of space.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of these have been taken off the road, written off because of a leak on the, on the system. And once you take some pipes off and that, you're in trouble unless you really know what you're doing. And Mazda are very, very expensive, I believe, to service these. But they were made to go up against the BMW 5 Series, so they've got a lot of soundproof.
Go straight on?
Yeah, straight on. So they've got a lot of soundproof and they're very quiet.
Yeah, the main thing I'm noticing at the moment, especially after jumping out the Rover, is the ride is not as refined as the Rover is.
Really?
Yeah, it feels quite firm to me.
It's firm, yeah. It's very much a sports saloon, this.
Yeah.
But if you give it a kick, you'll certainly enjoy the.
Oh, you wait for it.
And there is a hold button here on the automatic box which holds it down to 3-speed and makes each gear a little bit longer, so it holds onto the gears a bit longer. It's got traction control. There's a traction control button. Quite advanced for 99.
Yeah.
Electric seats, electric sunroof, air conditioning. Mini disc player is standard with a 6 CD in the boot.
With actual mini discs. When was the last time you saw a mini disc?
Which still works after 19 years.
Yeah. Good old Sony.
Quieter than the Rover?
I'm not sure. Seems to be less wind noise. The Rover's quite bad for wind noise.
It's got a drag factor of 0.32 this. Yeah, it is quite a hard drive, but I think that's because it's quite sporty.
Yeah, if you plonk your foot down, nothing for a bit, and then
it just wants to go and go.
Yeah. So there we go. The engine basically uses magic to try and make it feel bigger than it is. It does wind up more quickly than the Rover's. The Rover's just got no torque at all.
Yeah. I think the smaller engine, if you drive it very lightly and you keep it, say, below 2,000, it's quite economical, 25, 26 round town, but if you kick it, it's going to drink petrol like a 3 litre.
Yes, I'm on an economy mission with a Rover. I'm determined to get into the low 30s.
Yeah.
Let's see if I manage it on this trip.
It's all about the mid-range power on this, say between 30 and 70. That's where it's got it. If you compare it to...
It's kind of where you want the grunt in a real everyday car.
Yeah. I mean, it's faster than a Lexus GS 300. It's faster than a Mercedes 280. It's faster than a BMW 528i. Just.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a heavy car, whereas the Lexus, you always felt the heft in that. Bigger car again, but
I think it's got quite fresh suspension though, so I don't think it's got good suspension because of the mileage. Go left here.
It certainly feels very light and airy in here. I appreciate that in a car. Too many modern cars. Yeah, I'm just watching the bike.
And I mean, it's not modernish. It's modern, but it's not modern. It's got all the big windows and that, hasn't it?
Yeah, because belt lines just keep rising on modern cars. You can't see out.
If you actually look at this, I've been looking at the new E-shaped Mercedes. It's got the same kind of window line as a Mercedes E-Class, but a new one.
You should go into a Mercedes sales room and tell them that. I'd be very pleased.
Yeah. I mean, considering this car was originally 1993, that's when it first came out. This Millicycle version came out in 95 in the UK, and it was made till 2000. And in America they turned it into a Millenia from 99 to 2002 with the Millicycle engine, and they just changed the bumpers on the front and rear.
Yes, I've seen those. They look very, very bland and boring indeed.
They really do look.
Yeah, because in Japan this was sold as the Eunos 800.
That's right, yeah, and in Australia, yeah.
Whereas the little Xedos 6 was sold as the 500, and then you got the Eunos Roadster being the MX-5.
Yeah.
And then Mazda decided to kill off the Eunos brand, like they killed off the AutoZam brand, and
Yeah, and of course they were making the Mazda Cosmo then.
yeah.
And the Mazda Cosmo's got a very similar front end to this. If you look at just from the
Yeah,
bonnet
there's someone who
upwards.
lives near me who has one.
The Cosmo?
Yeah.
Oh, the magic cars then.
With a 20B in it. I meant to do a
Yeah.
video on it.
They are
I must
massive.
go and see him. Frank, I'm coming to see you. It needs to happen. Especially now he's put a single turbo conversion on it.
Yeah, there's one knocking around for sale at the minute. I think it's about £8,000 up in Scotland. Black one.
It has to be said, most of them that I've seen don't seem to spend a whole lot of time working.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the most reliable of cars.
Yeah. It's like this. I mean, as long as this continues to work, I'm happy. But I think the minute it goes wrong mechanically, it could be in trouble.
Yeah.
It could be the scrappers yard.
That's the joy of Bangonomics.
Yeah.
You're one big fail away from disaster.
Yeah. But I think if you can get hold of the right car and maintain it, it won't go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept the Senator 24 valve for 7 years, and again, all I done was change the brakes and change the oil. Nothing went wrong with it. Until vandals got hold of it in the end and smashed the windscreen.
Yeah.
And I wanted an exhaust actually, and the exhaust was around about 600 quid, so I thought time to go. But I've got 50,000 miles out of it.
Yeah, not bad going at all.
I mean, this car to buy 2 years ago was £910 with a full MOT. And as I say, I've done nothing with it except change the oil and the brake pads and the discs. Put new tyres on it.
As we said, the steering is very sweet. I mean, it shouldn't come as any surprise really with Mazda. Can't really do a 0 to 60 round a bend, but yeah, it doesn't want to kick down hard, does it?
No.
It's just starting to get wound up now.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
at 70. Yeah, it's very peculiar. It feels like the engine's very top endy, but the gearbox doesn't want to let it use the revs. It's very strange.
I know the maximum torque's at 3.4.
Which is pretty low for a Japanese
which is
engine.
low, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see, kick it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's not kicking below third, is it? Maybe we'll slow down for the speed camera again. So let's have one last look at the Xedos 9 Miller. And that is it. I shall see you again in a future video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Farewell.